Hmm. Wow, big thinking. Remember, need to think. Can't go on looking like a dumbass. Need to think all the time. Big brain, big moments. Early stream, early end. Smoking doinks. Playing Magic. Core boot will be in my hands, and whenever the fuck I decide to get. This is the problem with buying stuff from Europe, is not only you wait a long time, the shipping cost is fucking insane. But if I have to get my open source core boot enjoyer Cubes OS maximalist moment, I will take it. I will enjoy it. I will be a Cubes OS maximalist. I will be a maxi. When it comes to Cubes OS, I think it's the only good operating system. It's not even an operating system, it's a hypervisor. It's based, and if you have Cubes OS, you can finally obtain one girlfriend only, and one girlfriend only for the rest of your life. You can then tell people you are a Linux user with a girlfriend, and you can have maximum security and privacy when you're on OnlyFans and when you're shopping on Amazon. If you don't do those things, gay, you also have the ability to screen max, which is based, and it is cool, and everyone will think you're awesome. So when someone comes up to you and they're like, you know that meme where like it's a crowd and someone's like yelling into the girl's ear, it's like a guy yelling into a girl's ear, they're like, oh, do you, god damn, I hate these fuckers. Where you're like, oh, what operating system do you use? You're like, oh, I use Cubes OS. It's a hypervisor, and this hypervisor allows me to have maximum security and privacy, and fuck these stupid bitches for that one. I am now super low. Oh, damn. I made a oopsies. God, I shouldn't have milled. What about Secure Blue? Secure Blue is a good option. I just do not like Secure Blue, and I want the... Alright, I'm gonna crash out. What a fucking loser. Damn. Oh, that's good. That's just gonna... Secure Blue is a good option. I think if you have a desktop and you're not really looking for a quote-unquote gaming experience, and you just want a secure environment for Linux, that could be the option. The only problem with Secure Blue, I think it's only maintained by one person. This could be, just because it's one person doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. The issue is if that one person decides to get fucking, if he dies or leaves or decides he doesn't want to maintain it anymore, even though it's open source, it doesn't mean people are going to pick it up. You could quite literally lose it. Cubes OS is maintained by a team of people, and it has backing, financial backing, and grants and donations. There are pros and cons to both sides. The team has to probably go through a hierarchy of order of what can we do, what should we do, how can we do it, where one person just could be like, I'm gonna just do it. There's no structure, but it is based on Fedora, and because it's based on Fedora, if Fedora for whatever reason was like no, like, or lagged behind updates or whatever, you know, that is an argument for it too. You got to just kind of find out what your threat model is. I think Cubes OS gives you the best possible outcome in the event that you make a mistake. In Cubes OS, you can make a mistake, and the only thing that gets compromised is one cube. In Secure Blue, if you make a mistake and something happens, your worst case scenario is that's the worst case scenario is it's your entire operating system. In Cubes OS, your biggest threat and your highest level of security needs to be always focused on DOM 0 and making sure that you update everything consistently and efficiently, which Cubes OS does a good job. There are specific vulnerabilities that are, I just won, bitch. There are specific vulnerabilities that are targeted towards the Zen hypervisor that do not get affected by CubesOS because they maintain a fork of it. They do some difference and a lot of deep loading. So it's kind of just depending on what you demean secure. CubesOS is not more complicated than anything else Linux related. If you're a Linux user, you can use CubesOS. Secure Blue, I ran into some issues that I was not a fan of, and it's very restrictive for a reason to be as secure as possible. But if you want a little bit more freedom, I would say your best option would be CubesOS if you have the resources and the laptop to do so. But if you want something a little bit more lightweight and based on Fedora, which I think Fedora does have the best streamlined security for like a native user, besides maybe something like Void Linux or Gen 2 or Arch that are rolling releases. Fedora has kind of like its own advantages and disadvantages. But the only thing that we need to remove from our frontal lobe, aka lobotomize it, is saying that Linux in itself is secure. Linux isn't monolithic. Linux isn't it's not homogeneous with every operating system. Linux really isn't an operating system. I'm going to be a meme for a second. It is GNU Linux, and GNU Linux isn't homogeneous either. Different distributions have different philosophies. Different distributions have different security practices. Different distributions have different funding and what they want to focus on. So you're never going to meet a monolithic, secure Linux operating system. You just got to kind of find the best one that suits your needs and secure it as much as possible. There's no easy way to answer that either. A lot of people, but we do need to lobotomize the idea that Linux in itself is secure. Is it more secure than an insecure Windows machine with no patching and no update? Sure. But is it, if you were to hand a person with zero to no experience Linux and a person with somewhat computer knowledge Windows is far more secure. Minus the telemetry. I know Windows is constantly in the fucking news, like, and they're like another Windows vulnerability, but it means it's patched. They have a fix. Generally, when you're hearing about these vulnerabilities, it's because they have a patch for it, and they're telling people, "Hey, this exists. Please patch it." Not, "Hey, we're going to. Hey, here's a vulnerability. There's no patch, by the way." That's never the case. You hearing about it is generally a good thing. So Graphene OS right now, there is going to be. I just got notice. There is going to be an option now to add pre-release security patches ahead of time for people that have a specific threat model. I'm gonna have to read more into it. It's an option that I can turn on now. I'm gonna check it out for people that run Graphene OS. Something to think about. But back to the operating system side, you also have to have good secure hardware. A lot of people pick insecure hardware. If you put a secure operating system on insecure hardware, you kind of achieve nothing. It's like putting a really nice engine in a frame of a car that is not so nice. Like, it's rusted, it's shitty, it doesn't have the same structural integrity. You need security back to front. Maybe in certain parts where it could be laxed because everything would be inconvenient. But there's going to be some places where you do want to do zero trade-off, like having a secure operating system with a secure chipset in a secure environment that enforces these policies. So that's like another thing to think about. This is why when people are shilling these de-Googled phones like the Braxme, the Unplug, the Freedom, the Pee-Pee Poo-Poo, the Cum Retard phone, all these things that people are shilling, they just are shilling it because they're either A, getting paid, or it's lining the pockets of some retard that's trying to sell privacy and security as a service, which, of course, that's what they're going to do. They're going to say they have the most secure product. This is what you want. It's like, here's a problem and here's a solution. I have the solution kind of thing. Graphene OS is free because Android is free. And I think people forget that. Just like CubesOS is free, and it allows people to have access to this kind of environment. So donate to your software. If you use a software product for more than a year or a month, even 5 months, if you are constantly using it, donate to them. Because I don't think people realize that will fund them to keep longer. If it's just even $1, even if you take $1 instead of handing it to Spotify, Netflix, Google, Apple, whatever retard company out there that doesn't care about you or your privacy or your security, definitely just take that dollar away from them and hand it to somebody else. You know, vote with your dollars is what I say. I know there's like a long-winded rant, but I used Secure Blue. Long story short, I used Secure Blue. Did not like it, but that doesn't mean it's a bad product. Gotcha, thanks. Yeah, that was a long-winded rant for a very simple, yeah, it's okay, dude. My bad. But yeah, that's my... Damn. This guy fucking already cooked. Give me land, give me land, give me land, give me land. Oh no. Oh my god, I'm not gonna get any land from these fucking retards. Alright, I'm cooked. There's no way. I can't catch up. And my other, I guess like my other thought about Secure Blue is, I don't think it's, I think people like to jump on new stuff because it's shiny, and that could be a problem. Like BitChat from what's his name? Jack Doris, the guy that founded Twitter, whatever the fuck his name is. You know who I'm talking about. So they made BitChat in a weekend, and people were I'm gonna be charitable. People were freaking out. They're like, "There's all these security implement." Well, yeah, no shit. It's brand new, and he kept it open source so people could find it and improve upon it and make it better. This is the great thing about open source community, is not that it's more secure, not that you can trust it more, but it allows people to find stuff that are, hey, you did the encryption wrong, let's fix it. This is why Bitwarden was great, because like Bitwarden was like, someone pointed out, hey, Bitwarden, why aren't you using Argon 2? That's a good question. I don't think we need it. Like, it's a little complex. There was like a complexity reason. And then they're like, but this is how you can do it. And then they're like, all right, let's do it. We're going to do it. And then they did it, and it improved upon it. That's a huge W on why the free and open source software works. You don't have to sit there and wait for 50 bureaucrats to fucking think and find this that are working on 50 other things. Someone that's just in their spare time, that's just a software developer or just a software enjoyer, and they're like, hey, I found a solution. You guys should incorporate this. This is why. And then they see it and they're like, actually, yeah, that is great. What an awesome idea. There's a hardware wallet that I bought once, and it got abandoned by a company. The company abandoned it, and someone else picked it up. They forked it. They forked the entire company, bought the intellectual property right, and continued it. I was like, oh, nice. That's the beauty of open source, is it doesn't have to end there. It can take a company from literally the bottom and put it at the top again. When you have proprietary bullshit, they want to sell it. They'll even keep it. This happens in media a lot. Like movies, they'll buy the intellectual property right. The studio will go out and they'll just like, nah, we'll keep it. We don't care. Even if the actors or anybody wants to buy it, you know what I mean? So it's not really there's not really much of an option when it comes to proprietary closed source software. Look at the Pixel Watch. The Pixel Watch is a perfect example of this. When I try to download Monero wallet, my antivirus flags it. Yeah, that can happen. What wallet are you downloading? What operating system are you using? I'm assuming it's Windows because you said antivirus. Linux could still benefit from antivirus, but people don't fucking use it because they think it's not needed like a retard. But you could also be running Mac. Salty Sam. Oh, hell no. In most cases, you might just have to disable your antivirus. I think, okay, on a personal level, you should download 0 third-party software to use Windows. Just use Windows built-in Defender. Defender's great. Windows Defender is really good. And then combining maybe with Port Master to help with something. Fucking loser. I know a lot of people get sucked into like antivirus software, but just use Windows Defender if you have to, and something like Port Master, because your DNS can block a lot of this shit. Like your DNS provider can block malware sites. Which isn't perfect, but it's a little bit better. Yeah, I use Windows and Veracrypt. Yeah, Windows Defender's fine. Veracrypt's great. You can encrypt your drive. Port Master is good though. It's genuinely a good product. And there's no hate to companies who want to make money, whatever. I just don't think they do a good job. And you're giving them a lot of access. You're giving them not only a lot of access, you're giving them a lot of power. Like a lot. And if they end up being a rogue company, it's like, all right, is this still installed? Kind of type shit, you know what I mean? God, I hate this fucking card. All this landfall. Landfall is a real bitch move. I don't use antivirus. I am a Linux user. I lost this. Go. The fuck? I didn't think that like encrypting your drive is just a one. That's like a smart move. And having some form of like good like DNS filter. Sometimes when I'm concerned about something, like I'm concerned about a site. First off, actually, pro tip. I have my own bookmark server. I bookmark everything. Bookmarks I require no cookies. Cookies. I just reject them. I mean, like, I don't have any saved logins. I re-log into everything. That sounds like a nuisance, but it's a great idea. And I have a bookmark server with all my bookmarks. I know it's a site. No typo squatting. No third party. No third party has access to my bookmarks. No typo squatting. None of that. And I auto log out of everything. And then when I come back, I log back into everything. That's why I have a password manager. It's not that inconvenient. But if I'm really concerned about a site, I use Total Wireless. I take the domain, I put in there. If it's a PDF file, I open it up in Danger Zone. Danger Zone is cracked. It's very cool. For real. Yeah, for real. Clear that shit. Clear your cookies, bro. It's not worth it. Also encrypt your wallet. That's an option. And write down your seed phrase offline. And use a hardware wallet. That forces the signing. But these are retards that have like Coinbase, and they're trying to make a bag. That's how Liney's Tech Tips got cooked. Like, that's crazy. I'm not saying it can't happen to anyone, but damn, dude. Also, and make sure when you write down your seed phrase and you put it nowhere, you put it literally nowhere. Laminate it, put it in a couple like different spots. Like if you have a best friend or someone you really, really trust, you can do a Shamir, a backup. Shamir backup is kind of like a decentralized way. It's in a decentralized way. It allows you to distribute your seed phrase. No one has the full amount, and then you pick, no one knows, you pick the amount that needs to recover your backup, the amount of seed. It's very cool, very interesting, and something that people should look into if they have hardware wallets, software wallets, hot wallets, whatever. Very interesting type of technology. Or you can do super backed, made by a very cool person. You back up everything on an air-gapped PC. Trample, yeah. You either take it or you don't. Oh, bad soldiers. touch? No. Why would you take such a scary approach? No. Okay, that makes sense. And I will say there's some pretty good crypto wallets out there. I think the argument that they're bad or something or whatever, that people who know that you have them is kind of stupid. They don't know like what you did with it. If you fake the information, you're good. Never put your real information on your packages if it's being delivered to like a place that doesn't require you to show your government ID. That's simple. Fake everything that you can. That makes it easy. That kind of fucks warranties, but no haste. I think that's the thing that people forget. If it's going to a place that you don't need to show your ID, don't put your real information. Unless you have to do if it's like seriously expensive, then you have to do a warranty and you know they're gonna like ask for some form of identification, sure. But other than that, no. Motherfucker's still lost. So you guys, I just need to crash out 3 or 4 times and then I'm good. And then I'm flexing. Do 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 do. Okay. Sorry, I was looking at Monero stuff. Big dollars, big goldy dollars. Damn, fuck this turtle. Ooh. Need that white. Damn! I milled the wrong cards. We installed Windows XP and RAM, and then deleted it, and then installed it Windows XP and RAM, and then deleted it, and then installed it. True. Later now, I have 12 gigs of CH Mod 77 and RAM disk and mount temp. Oh, hell nah. Back when I used Ubuntu, true, I thought directly meant something with Linux Mint, and can you tell how experienced I was 3 years ago? Very base card. I think the biggest Linux mistake that I made was biggest Linux goof I did. Oh, I trusted Butterfs. What an L. Ooh. Yeah. Oopsies. Wrong one. Oh, damn. You took advantage of. Remember the only valid root partition format are XFS, DFS, and X4? No but valid? A third one, bitch. Alright, it's over. And I would say, yeah, ZFS is base. I just use X4, X24. ZFS is base though. I use it on Proxmox. Here we go. I don't even know what that is. Riser FS? Riser FS, to be honest. I know there's tons of options you have out there. You want to read that? 24 years ago. Interesting. Later. This reminds me of Quibble, which is Windows bootloader that you can use. From what I know is retarded file system. Later, Billy. New terrible file system. Yeah, NTFS sucks. I'll have to read on that. Hell yeah. You'd be silly to not block that. Hmm. Hmm. Wow. Oh no. Stupid. Yikes. And a 1. Unless he's got something up his sleeve, which he doesn't. And he lost. Haha, loser. All right, guys, appreciate you joining. Thank you and all. I will see you in the next video.